So this week my guides have been telling me to mind my mind. And you know, I remember as a child being told to mind my manners and to mind my mouth, because I was always saying things that adults didn't want me to say out loud. And I'm sure all of you have grown up exactly the same way, where you had to mind your manners. And it occurred to me this week while I was minding my mind, which was like quite a problem actually, that when we were growing up and people said mind your manners, they never ever said mind your manners in your head first and foremost. They were always more interested in how you were minding your manners outside, what the world was seeing, what you were saying in the world, what other people were hearing, what other people were seeing, how other people were going to perceive you and react to you, as opposed to minding your manners in your head, in terms of what were you actually thinking and how were you thinking about those people. So nobody ever bothered to ask me what was I thinking when I was saying things out loud that they didn't like. So they weren't minding my mind either. Only I was supposed to be minding my mind, it would appear, and then nobody taught me how. So my mind has been very unruly for a long time until it went to meditation and learned how to meditate. But even at this long, late stage of my own spiritual development, my guide said, mind your mind. So I have sat this week and I've been paying attention to my mind. And my mind spends a lot of time minding. It minds a lot of things. It minds things that are not its business. It minds other people's behaviors. I mean, it takes offense quite easily and quickly, even if I don't really care. And I realize that my mind is trained to take offense even when I don't really care. It's as if you don't take offense at something in the world, or you don't put your foot down about it in the world, then other people, outside again, other people will take advantage. So you have to mind. My mind has been trained, firstly, that nobody is paying attention to what's going on inside of it. So it can do whatever it likes outside while hiding things inside. And when we as children were taught that, we were taught to be quiet, to mind our manners, to not say whatever came to mind. And we were taught, therefore, to be deceitful in the world, to not speak our truth, to be punished for speaking our truth. And you were told not to behave badly, that you had to respect your elders even when they were talking absolute nonsense, or they were doing the wrong thing. You couldn't say so. Oh, well, in my house you couldn't anyway. And I always caught them doing the wrong thing, like I do now. So I suppose some people are just geared towards seeing that that's not okay. And then you're told to not mind when somebody behaves badly. So my mind has learned, firstly, that there is a level of deceit in the world generally. And then, of course, it is supposed to mind some things in order to make a statement of one's personality or presence in the world. It is supposed to mind. And if you don't mind those things, then there's something wrong with you in terms of protecting yourself from the world in general. So my mind has understood very easily how unsafe the world is. It is deceitful and it is unsafe. And then, of course, my mind has learned that it is supposed to mind everybody's business. It is supposed to know what's going on everywhere. It will look very stupid if it doesn't know. It will look like it knows nothing if it doesn't know what's going on everywhere. So if somebody starts a topic, then you're supposed to be able to talk about it. You're supposed to engage with that conversation. You're not supposed to say, I don't know. And just from that perspective alone, the mind, and everybody has one, everybody is a soul and has a mind, has wound up being insecure and lacking in confidence in the world. And then, of course, the mind has been taught to be comparative and competitive and ambitious and all of those wonderful things that render us inadequate in the world. So I was minding my mind, and then I was actually of two minds while minding my mind, because a part of me thought how very boring this is, minding my mind, because, you know, it's a fairly one-track mind. If it's not thinking about something specific, it's going Om Namah Shivaya, And then it will think about something specific and it will go back to Om Namah Shivaya. So I thought, okay, what is that something that it gets distracted by? And usually it's household stuff and answering the phone. It's always something comes along and distracts me and gets my attention to go pay attention elsewhere. And when my mind goes there, it can't seem to hang on to the Om Namah Shivaya and the sense of peace that goes with it. It gets distracted, it gets tempted, it gets drawn in, it gets busy. And I thought, no, I don't like that. I want to actually have my mind maintaining the Om Namah Shivaya, and then from that it must manage everything else. So that was the one thing. And then the second thing I noticed about my mind was that while it was actually finding my life boring, it was actually finding my life, this life that I, the soul, so thoroughly enjoys, it was finding it boring, that there wasn't enough to do in it, that there weren't enough people to talk to, that there wasn't a big rush and a drama and oh dear, it was just like so frazzled by this notion that we were just sitting quietly. So I said, okay, if you don't mind that I, the soul, am peaceful and quiet, I won't mind that you want to get busy with this whole illusiony, Maya drama in the world. So you can go and sit in the world, I'll sit here. You let me know when you come back. And of course my mind couldn't do that either, because it actually can't do anything and go anywhere without me. And that's when my mind realized that instead of me minding it, it has to mind me. It took a while though, this week anyway. Next week might be easier or more difficult, who knows. But this week it took, what's today, Tuesday? It took 2 days for my mind to realize that it has to mind me, that I'm the one who takes it places. I'm the one that allows it to implement, to become an action from all of this ongoing, frazzled, frenzied thinking. And that ultimately I am the one who is making the decisions, the choices, because I am the one being responsible for things that my mind is only reactive to. But still my mind wouldn't settle into, I, the soul, will manage this. It decided to have a big argument with me about who is doing. Is your body doing or is your soul doing? So I had to mind my mind again. Whole new conversation started. And I said to my body, I will use you to follow what I have instructed the mind to be. I will act from my body. And my mind said, your body is doing a whole range of things that you are not instructing it to do. So I had to think about that one for a while, and I thought, okay, my mind is right. This body is doing a whole range of things that I haven't told it to do. More importantly, my mind hasn't told it to do it either. So why is my mind laying claim on this body when it hasn't given the instruction? When I haven't given the instruction? When my body has a mind of its own? So there's another mind. I thought, okay, that's now we've got 3 minds. There's the mind, mental mind, there's my physical mind, there's my spiritual mind. And then when I got mad with the gardener, there was my emotional mind coming straight to the fore and just going, hallelujah, let's stop and think about this. So I was now 4 minds, and now I didn't know which mind to mind. It was very confusing. So I thought, okay, if I have to mind each of these minds independently, this is a lot of work. Obviously, I need to get them to harmonize with each other and work with each other so that, there's some peace inside at least. Because if they're fighting with each other, I'm not going to be peaceful. And I have got so many other things that I want to be, as opposed to watchdog over my mind. So I said, okay, physical body, my body's mind, all of my cellular memory, all of the notions that live at a cellular level, all of those things have been working for 50 years. The capacity to regenerate a whole new physical body every 7 years, to cleanse my liver, to ease the pain in my back, all of those things. When I talk to my body's mind pays attention. When I breathe consciously, my body's mind receives prana, it pays attention. It obviously is not in revolt against me just yet. It is only my mental mind, really, that then manipulates my emotional mind because, it needs something on its side. This is the thing about this mental mind. It needs consensus. It needs agreement from everything else to say, oh, I was right, I know. So I caught it trying to manipulate my emotional body and say, oh, you must be on my side. I'm the one who gives you things to feel. I'm the one who actually gives you the chemicals. I'm the one who labels those chemicals so that you look strong and capable and powerful in this body. So I had to watch all of these games. And finally I got to a place where I thought, okay, my mind and I need to be at one. My mind and I need to agree that my emotions and my physical body work together as a chemical factory, because that's what's happening in your body all the time. Chemicals are being created that create dis-ease or distress or discomfort or just good old-fashioned bliss. It depends on what you're thinking and how you're using your mind. So my mind and I, the soul, had to agree that between us, we are managing this physical body and this emotional body. I, the soul, brings life force, vitality to the physical body, which then in turn animates it, revitalizes it so that it is using every breath it takes for me to be able to action it and to live from it. I will leave my physical body behind at some point. Everybody knows this, right? We all know that death is inevitable, and yet we are so solidly ignoring that fact all the time. So try not to ignore it from now on. I mean, if you didn't ignore it, you might get up thinking, ooh, I mind, I mind that I'm here and not living fully. So, yeah, I know. I'm not going to die tomorrow. Okay. I'm not going to die tomorrow. Got a long way to go yet. Getting told this today. Yeah, never mind. Some people pray to die, just to be relieved of a physical body that no longer works. So when it does work, we must pay attention. We must enjoy it. We must live it fully. So my physical body and I, the soul, can get into harmony that way. Because when I am still in meditation, I bring my physical body into stillness and I bring it into quiet and I give it a space of rest while I, the soul, blossoms. But this brain mind, this mental mind that is so caught up in the world around it and refuses to accept that it too will die, that as part of the physical body and in its attachment to the physical body, in its dependency on the physical body for it to be active in the world, it too will die. This mind, however, likes to think that when I, the soul, leaves this body behind, it will go with. And therefore, it can be the dominant factor of all of the minds that are available. So I had to set my mind straight. This minding my mind was a very busy thing, because first I had to teach it that it wasn't in charge. As a mental body concept, it is only one of the bodies. That there are in fact 4 bodies times 3, so that's 12 bodies, and that all 12 bodies have consciousness, and that each of them represents a different type of mind. And only I, the soul, can in fact manage all of those 12 bodies to work in harmony. Now I know all of this is a bit confusing, but that's why we come to meditation. So that we can manage all of those bodies, so we can bring them into stillness, so we can bring them into quiet, so we can bring them into acceptance that they are all going to die someday, and that everything that we become in meditation is what we take with us. So we use meditation as the tool to create more of what we want to take with us, and to manage the physical plane life, so that we do in fact get to cheat death by living as fully and as gloriously and as blissfully and joyfully as possible. But the mind, as we know, loves its dependency on the physical plane. It is the one space in which it can pretend to be in charge, dominant. It can pretend to know what's going on, because it really doesn't know anything beyond the physical plane. It knows how to turn on the kettle and open the tap. It knows those things, so it will keep us attached to what it knows in order to ignore what it doesn't know. So you will watch your mind. I mean, I watched my mind. It will take me to all of the horrors of the world, because it knows that. There's plenty of it in the news. And then I have to consciously say, but you know that all of that is part of the illusion. Why are we focusing on that? But my mind will get attached, and I have to watch it as it spirals into an anxiety and goes into, oh my God, the world is so full of crazy sorrow and pain and grief, and this just feels so horrible. And because I'm an empath, it feels even worse, and I feel myself getting completely burdened and saddened and grief-stricken. And then I have to remind my mind that actually I, the soul, chooses to live from faith. I choose to live from a space where I am consciously in the light. I am embraced by the light. That the light is in fact a space that's going to open up all of those perceived tunnels and shadows and points of darkness, and that I don't have to live in that darkness because I am a light. So my mind needs to get reminded about those things when faced with what it thinks of as tangible realities. And then the mind is a sneaky bastard, I tell you. It is a very sneaky bastard. Because this mind knows exactly where all of your soft spots are. It knows where your vulnerable underbelly is, and it will dig and poke and pierce and penetrate in order to grab your attention and keep control of you. So what did it do after I set it straight about what is my focus? It decided to get all personal. And this is when I start to think about Paddy, and I go past Paddy's harness there, sitting there, and I think about where we were last year this time. And so I have Paddy chatting over here and asking me to smell me, Granny. And I thought, why does she want me to smell her? Does she need a bath? And over here my mind is going, oh, she's not there. She died, remember? Remember how sick she was this year last time? How we were making soji to get her to walk down. All sorts of disjointed memories. And I thought, oh my God, you're manipulating me again. Here I am having a completely fabulous conversation with the god dog, feeling her alive, and now I can smell her clearly, and here you are pointing out to me everything that's missing. And again, it's a spiral down into all of the negative stuff that is so much a part of the mass consciousness right now, and my mind wants to fit in. It wants to be exactly like all of those other minds that are operational in the world, because then it will belong, it will have consensus, it will have agreement, it will be the majority. And of course, it thinks the majority rules. Now, I don't mind if my mind thinks like that. But I do mind if my mind thinks I think like that. Because I don't. I disagree completely. So I ask my mind, where are you getting all this crap from? I thought we cleaned this up. I thought we were done with this shit. Where did you get all this stuff from? And it was so obvious. It's there. It is there. All that stuff that you want to mind your mind about is there. It's so readily available. You can breathe it in. You can inhale it exactly like I was inhaling Paddy. You know? You don't even have to twitch your nose. You don't have to go smell it out. It is there. As glaringly obvious and as overwhelming and as big as a house, this house anyway, it is there. And so my mind said it is more difficult to find grace, God, beauty, light in that. So it is comfortable there. It knows that. It's known that for 50 years. Why would it change now? So I said, but I've only known that for like about 27 years. You know, since then I have been shifting and changing my life. Do you think you could join me? Let's do this. And again my mind said, no, no, no. You can do that from time to time. But this is the reality. This is the reality you must deal with. So you have to come back and sweep pool apartments and fix geysers. You know, this is the reality. And I, the soul, is saying, but hold on. I have lived reality for aeons of time. That is not real. That is the illusion. And here is the big difficulty. My mind and my soul can't agree about what is real. So what is real? I have to mind my mind every day, especially now, at this time, I have to mind my mind and watch it go into what is unreal, what is illusionary, and bring it back to what I know is real, to what I feel is real, to what I experience as being real, as opposed to what it has consistently thought and based on past experience believes is real. I have to tell you, my mind's manners are nowhere near as good as my soul's. It does not mind its manners in the world, because one of the first things we should have learned about minding our manners is that we should be kind. We should be kind to ourselves and others. We should be kind to strangers. We should be kind to animals. We should be kind to plants. And my mind is actually very unkind to me. It goes looking for all of the things that are going to make me miserable first. And I don't like that about it. So my mind and I had an argument about that. And it was very clear. That's what it knows. I know differently, but that's what it knows. It hones in on what is most available in the world. So of all of the things I would like to change about the world today, it is what is most available to my mind, because quite honestly, if the world was a nicer place, I wouldn't have to mind my mind that much. It would be so much easier. It is very hard for my mind to be gentle in the world when the world is so not gentle in return. And that is the excuse my mind makes for itself. Because I, the soul, is going, this is not okay. You are making stories about what is not real. You are making stories about the Maya of the universe in order to excuse your bad behavior. You are throwing a tantrum. You are a brat. You must now learn to behave. And you are all nodding in agreement, right? Yeah. This is part of the problem. This mind does not understand and does not accept that it is temporary. It is so busy clinging, so attached, so dependent on everything that is tangible on the physical plane, that everything outside of that remains suspended in a state of disbelief. So I can say every day, every 5 minutes, you are going to die. You are very busy dying. And what happens? No, seriously, think about this. Your mind has rationalized that one. Yeah. And actually it doesn't believe. It doesn't know that it is going to die. It does not actually accept. This body is dying. I am going to die. It will tune in then to the soul saying, oh, but I'm an eternal being. But where is it coming from? It's coming from rationalization, justification, for its resistance to and avoidance of the understanding that this physical body will return to dust. So this mind is keeping us in denial in order to maintain control. And this is why it is so easy for us all to be brainwashed in the universe. Absolutely brainwashed. So brainwashed that other people can come around and decide whether we're going to feel good about ourselves or not. Going to have a good day or a bad day. Happy day or a sad day. You know, This mind is so trained to look outward that it cannot acknowledge what is inwardly. We need to be minding this mind like a babysitter. We need to mind this mind, babysit it every step of the way for at least 2 years, and when it's gotten past the terrible twos stage, then we need to start guiding it into being more useful and purposeful to the soul, not to the world, but to the soul. Yeah. So if you look at all of the books, I'm being reminded, if you look at the books, in Exclusive Books or any other bookshop, all of those books will be focused on how to think yourself rich and how to manifest this and manifest that. But there isn't a single title that says how to think yourself alive beyond the death of your physical body. Which is a very long title, actually. So, for that long title, we would just replace how to think yourself alive beyond the death of your physical body, how to meditate.
What to do after death?
Well, there's no doing after death. There is only being. Yeah, only here with the physical body and this ridiculous mind do we get so busy with the doing and the doing and the doing and the acting out. What the mind thinks is important. So if you are sitting quietly, and we've had this in meditation, if you are just sitting, the mind will come up with a list that it thinks is more important than just sitting. And it will wonder. I mean, when I just sit in meditation and happiness goes by, my brain is thinking, oh, I wonder if happiness thinks I'm just sitting and doing nothing while she's working, you know. And I'm thinking, now I'm saying to my mind, how is that relevant? Of course, you know, the rest of the spiritual beings in the house think I'm going a little bit nuts because I'm having this conversation with my mind all the time for 2 days now. And maybe they're right, who knows. If you see those men in little white coats, it's because I have officially lost my mind. I'm threatening to. It's not so easy though. It's very difficult to lose your mind. It is very difficult. But once you do, then there is a feeling of weird craziness about it. There's a kind of insane bliss to talking to yourself and getting no response. You know, because this mind is just like shut down. It's got no instantaneous reaction. And when I reach that moment, I'll go, oh, enlightenment. Until then, stupid brain, stupid mind, always has a quick smarmy response or reply or reaction or something. Just like the whole universe outside where it seems to live and that it seems to live for. It's still getting on my side about this. You think I've been training it for 14, 15, 20 years. It would be better than this, right? Yeah. So, this is how many years meditation is going to take you. If you don't come to class next week, I'll understand. But this minding your mind, it's actually a very simple thing to do. It's to just watch, listen, hear. And very often, like a quiet parent, you go, no, in a very authoritative voice. Just cut your mind off at that specific moment and go, no, 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 absolutely not. And you just stop it right there. And in fact, if you just focus in on saying the no to your mind and be very clear that you're saying it to your mind, it will get so busy defending itself to you that it will detach from whatever's going on outside. The other quick one, I don't think everybody in the center uses this one now, is where you go, okay. Whatever is going on with this drama, you go, okay. But you know, my mind is strong enough to take okay as a yes. So I have to say, okay, but. Or okay, but no, no, just no, shut up now. Every now and again I have to actually tell it to shut up because it talks too much as well. Yes, just like the rest of me. All of my minds talk too much, and when they talk too much simultaneously, life gets very hectic around here. Okay, so let us meditate on the state of your mind.